had the opportunity to work closely with amazing marketers from brands like Nike, North Face, and Spotify on customer acquisition and retention programs. I'm excited actually today to listen and learn from today's set of speakers, each of whom is an innovative marketer focused on driving business impact through new personalization and acquisition techniques. If you go to the next slide, it'll give you a quick idea, a sense of who we are going to hear from. We are kicking it off with Damon Marcadente from Viacom CBS, followed by Shivanku Mishra from Gannett, Daniel Stern from Textile Fashion Group, and Mike LaFlaughlin from Kimberly-Clark. Variety of different industries, all tackling the same challenge in the world of personalization. How do we think of personalization in the future as there's a lot of seismic shifts happening? Before we have our first set of speakers, I want to spend a few minutes to set the context for the day. The landscape is quickly changing based on multiple reasons. One, the privacy regulations are in play, increasing focus on consumer privacy. The consumer sentiment on how their data is getting abused, is increasing concern among consumers, right? And last but not the least, we are seeing large tech giants changing their strategy around cookies and other third-party data collection. What that means is we are seeing a big shift where we're moving from personalization, which is frankly built on stalking, where we as marketers guilty of using third-party data and mailing lists, which we knew were never that accurate, but we relied on them for years, to the new gold standard, which is much more opt-in, self-attested, verified data. This is where the consumer raises the hand and says, here's information about myself in exchange from value from the brand. So we're seeing this big shift that's happening. If you go to the next slide, what we see is that is also borne out in a recent study we did with the CMO Club. We are seeing a vast majority of CMOs are moving to away from third-party data sources towards more usage of first-party data and zero-party data, not just for privacy concerns. We're also seeing it as a critical step in building that brand trust with the consumer. Over the last few years, we've seen consumers increasingly rely on their peers, their community for shopping advice and on brands. And therefore, we're seeing increased investment from brands on consumer-focused content and building really the brand's community. Over the last year through the pandemic, we have seen some brands do really well where they ran campaigns that aligned with their brand values and also having societal impact. Those are the brands that have earned the most brand trust in the latest brand trust reviews. So we are seeing CMOs increase investments on those kind of campaigns. The value of zero-party data or first-party data is even more important than we thought a year ago. Moving to the next slide, what we are seeing now is many of these major brands are adopting a new personalization technique called identity marketing. Identity marketing enables the brand to create an exclusive offer to a group of consumers who are tied together with one identity. That identity could be an affiliation, like I'm a teacher, or a life stage like a student, right? The reason when you run a campaign like that, what happens is what we're seeing is it taps into the individual's self-identity, which creates that emotional resonance. That in turn translates into far better conversion rates. And just a quick example, recently we were talking to the folks at Comcast. They've been focused on really acquiring the Gen Z customers. So they created an exclusive offer just for college student, which included Xfinity Plus, Xfinity Broadband Plus, Amazon Music and HBO at a really compelling price. When you give a really compelling offer to a specific audience, a target just for that audience, what we have seen is significant improvement in conversion rate. They saw a 93% increase in conversion rate and a 6x increase in subscribers. If you go to the next slide, another example which I love is what Target has done. Target, their audience, one of the audiences they support a lot is the teacher community. So as a, especially coming, this is the last 2 years they've done this, and even this year they plan to do the same thing. Especially what teachers have done in terms of helping our kids during the pandemic, they decided to give a compelling offer to students because teachers actually spend, I believe, close to $500 out of their own pocket for school supplies. So Target gave a 15% offer just for teachers. That offer went viral. It got picked up by USA Today. People, Target to spend no paid dollars on this, and that campaign went viral last year and the year before, and had significant success in terms of not just acquisition, but loyalty from that group. If you go to the next slide, what this tells you is, when you do identity marketing, you optimize your funnel with zero-party data, right? At the very top of the funnel, when you create a compelling offer for a specific community, as part of that verification process, you access zero-party data, which the consumer is provided with explicit consent. You now own that data. Next, because there's verification, this offer is protected from cannibalization and fraud. So that enables you, the marketer, to create a really compelling offer for a specific audience. As I mentioned before, because it appeals to the identity of the user, it creates the emotional resonance and it leads to better conversion. And if that offer is targeted at specific communities like the military or teachers or even students, they're tight-knit communities. There's a significant referral traffic that's created from these kind of offers that, of course, reduce your acquisition costs. And last but not the least, given you own now valuable data directly from the consumer, not just data you already have like purchase data, but also how they identify themselves, that has helped brands have an ongoing engagement with the consumer, which drives, we've seen from our brands, 2 to 3x repeat purchase. With that, what I would like to do is I would like to have Mark LaFleur and Damon Mercadante join us on stage and discuss the efforts on personalization and what they're doing at Viacom CBS.